Ounce for ounce, the standard black ink sitting in your home printer costs more than Dom Perignon, Chanel No. 5, and human blood. When priced by volume, this fluid regularly commands up to $12,000 a gallon. This chart compares that retail ceiling against the actual production cost. Chemically, inkjet fluid is mostly deionized water, mixed with carbon black pigment and humectants. The industrial cost to manufacture a gallon rarely exceeds $50. Manufacturers rely on the low price of the hardware to pull consumers into a life cycle where the real profit is generated through these thousands of percent markups. Manufacturers purposely sell the physical printer at or even below the cost of production. It's a classic loss leader strategy. They absorb an initial loss on the machine itself to guarantee a lifetime of high-margin cartridge purchases. Industry executives are openly transparent about this. Speaking at the World Economic Forum, HP CEO Enrique Lores stated plainly, "We lose money on the hardware, we make money on the supplies." This area chart tracking HP's hardware profits versus their consumable revenue shows exactly how effective this is. In a single recent fiscal year, HP's printing division generated $4.5 billion in net revenue. Their hardware unit sales actually declined, yet their operating margins stayed incredibly healthy, entirely because of ink and toner. These companies operate almost entirely outside the business of selling electronics. The hardware is simply the delivery mechanism for an inescapable recurring subscription to proprietary colored water. Of course, the obvious workaround for any budget-conscious user is to accept the subsidized hardware, but reject the overpriced brand name ink in favor of cheap third-party cartridges. To close that loophole, printer manufacturers deployed a system known as digital rights management, or what HP calls dynamic security. This schematic shows the physical mechanism behind the lock. Modern cartridges contain cryptographic smart chips that perform a precise digital handshake with the motherboard. But companies push secret Wi-Fi firmware updates that scramble this cryptographic code, making third-party chips instantly incompatible. Without warning, a generic cartridge that was printing perfectly fine on a Tuesday is completely blocked and rendered totally useless by Wednesday. The software operating inside your personal printer is functioning as a remote enforcer for the manufacturer, actively sabotaging the machines sitting on your desk to protect their retail margins. Users have challenged this in court. Tech giants are routinely hit with massive class action lawsuits spanning dozens of states and multiple countries for deliberately bricking functional hardware. In 2018, HP paid $1.5 million to settle a California lawsuit over these exact practices. But a $1 million payout is a rounding error for a division pulling in billions of dollars a year. The legal system struggles to regulate this behavior because multi-million-dollar fines no longer act as a deterrent. They are budgeted directly into the corporate spreadsheet as a standard operating expense to maintain a highly profitable monopoly. The use of DRM microchips and frequent firmware updates serves as a technological fence around the hardware. It represents an industry shift where a one-time purchase is replaced by a digitally gated environment designed for recurring revenue. Consumers looking to exit this system generally have one viable path: tank-style printers, which rely on refillable reservoirs instead of proprietary cartridges. This choice effectively reverses the economics. You pay the true manufacturing cost of the hardware up front in exchange for a supply chain you actually control, bypassing the DRM ecosystem entirely. Digital gatekeeping ensures that even the equipment sitting on your desk remains under corporate control, unless you pay a higher upfront premium to buy out of the subscription cycle. Have you ever been locked out of your own printer by a surprise software update? Look around your house. How many other devices are secretly operating on this exact same subscription logic? Let us know your worst printer story in the comments. And if you want more sharp, insider breakdowns of the hidden business world, make sure to like and subscribe to the Viral Scope. See you next time.